Driders are awesome. Don't knock a Drider. All right. Right. What's up, everybody? Woo!
What's up?
Welcome to Comically Gaming episode 126. Covering the third week of January 2019. For those of you who don't know, it's a full-blood wolf red moon. Gonna be the apocalypse.
That explains everything.
It's all that is why the NFL can't make calls right, and it is sheer Armageddon. I didn't do much this week. I kicked off the season 2 of The Punisher. Kicked off on Friday.
You're going crazy about it, huh?
Yeah, I got 2 episodes in because I can't watch it when my son's around. But
No.
man, you know, most season openers always, every time they start off real slow and they get you back into the story, and
Yeah.
it's just it churns and you're just like, it's just the first one. But man, no, not this one. This one, it sets in the story, got you back into it, and then it says, okay, let's go full throttle for where we picked off last season. It's pretty much what it did.
Nice.
The reviews I heard were that it's a more exciting season overall. Like, this is the total picture.
Yeah.
But that it's a little less focused. Like, the plot kind of goes all over the place. But that it's super
exciting. Did you ever watch the
exciting.
first season, Nate?
No, sir.
Oh.
I just finished it.
Yeah, one of these days I will.
Yeah,
It's really good.
It's really good. And then I've been playing a Fallout 76 every once in a while. And
What level you at?
I'm at level 11.
How do you feel about it?
I'm not going too crazy, but I haven't run into... I've learned how to avoid other players.
How do you do it?
You just bring up your map every once in a while, and as long as they're not blocking their online session, you can see the dots, your little yellow dots where they are. And so if I see a group of dots, I just sort of go
Avoid
wide
them?
around them and try
Sure.
and get out of the way. So I don't know. It's not, I still like it. I think some of the quests are still buggy though. Some of the quests are really buggy where you can, if you get holotapes early on by accident for a quest and not realize it, and you listen to them, it still doesn't trigger that flag for the quest completed until you get to unlocking it actually to flag you. So it's kind of.
Well, I had that quest like where we ended off as a story team. Like the guy said, go to my gravestone, look across the river, go up the hill, and said all this shit. But there was no markers, and he just gave me verbal instructions, and I couldn't find it. But I kind of like that. I think that's cool.
It's kind of old school. It's kind of like 10 years, 12 years ago. Wow. Did that. And then I watched a couple movies. I watched Hunter Killer, and that movie's garbage. It's pure garbage.
Never heard of it.
It's an atrocity. It's got Gerard Butler in it, and it's lame. It tries to be Hunt for October, and it falls flat on its face. And then I watched the Stars Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and that was an excellent movie. That was an excellent movie.
Was it?
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. But
It looks a little. The previews looked a little too rom-commy for me. Like, does the movie feel like that?
No.
no.
I think they get into, like, drug addiction pretty heavily.
It gets into
right?
alcohol and drug addiction really
Oh,
heavily.
okay.
And what you think the movie's going to be about is actually condensed the first part of the movie, and then it gets into the actual movie. So
You didn't answer my question. Is it rom-commy or not?
no, not really. It's more of a realistic romantic comedy, but it's not really comedic.
So yes, it is.
No, it's not.
There's
like the
no
traditional-
comedy in there, though, huh?
There's some comedy. I mean, but it's just it's more it's very realistic in a lot of ways.
Just seems not up my alley. You haven't convinced me yet.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
It's a remake.
So you liked it?
It's a remake of a remake
Yeah.
because it was made back in the 50s, 60s, and then it was remade again in the 70s with Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand. Yeah,
There you go.
and now it's this one. But yeah, I knew watching it that it's not up Nate's alley.
Was it as good as the original?
I never watched the original.
I'll go watch that Barbra Streisand one.
I wouldn't. So, how did you go, Nate? What's up?
This week, a few different things. I won't keep repeating myself about Celeste. I'm still playing Celeste.
Well, I want you to.
Yeah.
What level are you on?
Oh, you want me to repeat myself about it?
Well,
I'm on level 5 right now. I just did the wind level.
Sucks, dude.
Wind level's a bitch.
I hate the wind level.
I like the gameplay just as much. I feel like the story's taking a step back as it goes on. They didn't jump enough into
Let's wait for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Everybody talks about that, so I'm hoping. But right now, I feel like when you do the hotel, that's really awesome. Yeah. But then there was a level and a half where nothing that cool has happened since. But yeah, whatever. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I can only play it. It's funny because I had to focus, right? So I can only play it for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I just start losing my mind, right? And then I'll leave and take a break and kind of come back and stuff.
That's the best way to approach it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's too punishing.
Mr.
Whatever.
Mr. Oshiro scared my son.
Oh yeah.
He got scared of the vampire.
Yeah, Mr. Oshiro's awesome though.
You getting strawberries?
No,
I'm just not good at cleaning
strawberries. When I pull into a screen that I can tell is only there for a strawberry, I immediately turn around and go right back to looking where the level goes. I could care less about strawberries.
I don't know how people do that.
What's your death count?
I'm not sure right now.
5,000.
I think I'm still in the hundreds. I think.
Really? You're like, God, dude, I'm at like 1,200.
That's funny.
I die a lot.
So
anyways, True Detective.
So, well, I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to talk about how when I take breaks from the PS4, I've been popping back on the Vita, and the Vita, I've been playing Ys Origin. Mm-hmm. I think that's how they pronounce it. That's how I've heard people say it. Ys.
I call it Wise.
Do you? I think it's like Spanish. I think.
The YS thing.
Yeah, but so I didn't realize. I thought from everything I've ever seen of those games, I thought that they were traditional Japanese role-playing games, and they're not. It's an action role-playing game. Like my dude has like a gun basically that I just walk around the levels and blast. Like it's almost like Diablo or something like that. You know, I'm mashing buttons and taking dudes down throughout these dungeons. And from what I heard, the whole game is this dungeon. It's just a straight dungeon crawl. You start in the dungeon and you never leave it. And you're just crushing through the thing and trying to get to the bosses and stuff. Well, that can be terrible when the gameplay isn't fun. But with this, the gameplay is really fun. So far, I'm probably played it 3 or 4 hours, and I'm not even close to being sick of it yet.
I played the demo and I was not a fan, but maybe I should play more.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Yeah, when I played the demo, I was not digging that shit.
Right. Well, play some more. It's good.
Yeah. All right.
And then Hitman Go. I've had that game forever. It's always on sale for like $2. It's just a little puzzle game, and I usually don't like puzzle games, but this one scratches a good itch. It's kind of easy, which I kind of like. Like I don't like puzzle games where I'm constantly having to Google the answer or whatever. Like this is like just hard enough for me to struggle like maybe 2-3 times, and I get through the level and go to the next one. But I'd suggest everybody try it out. It's also one of these games that I can't believe that the Vita was such a failure that it was. It's so awesome. The cross save between PS4 and Vita is so cool. I love it that I can play on the TV, click a button, turn on the Vita, play in my bed, same game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my buddy was talking shit about Vita the other day. Like, oh, it's a shitty system. And I was like, no, you never had it. It's actually really great. It's better than 3DS. It just didn't get the support it needed, and it doesn't. Handhelds are aimed towards children, and Nintendo just dominates them. But it was it's a great system.
Yep. Yep. I love it. And then I'll end by we started watching True Detective season 3. Corey, you brought up the. Anybody else watch it yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting until she gets back home.
it's incredible. It's really, really good. I instantly, like, something about the season 2, which I never even finished, which I never do. I always, if I get halfway through a season, I finish it, whether I like it or not. Like, I just go through the story. In True Detective season 2, I was like, nope, fuck this. After like the 6th episode, it was like that and Luke Cage, or not Luke Cage. What's
Jones.
what's the punch dude? Iron Fist. Yeah, those are the only 2 series that I've ever gotten like 6,
Luke
7,
Cage sucked too, though.
6. I finished that one even. That was better than those 2. But season 3, really great, really, really great. I can't wait for you guys to start watching it. We'll have to start talking spoilers on it. What's the actor's name? Ali? Is his last name Ali?
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, he. The only thing that I've heard that he's good in a bunch of things, but the only thing that I've seen him in is Luke Cage, and he was the best thing about that show.
Is he Luke?
No, it's Cottonmouth.
Oh, okay.
In this show, he's incredible. He's 10 times better than he was in Luke Cage. I'm really blown away by him so far, and it's only two episodes in where we're watching right now. It's playing tonight as we record.
He's in Moonlight too. He's incredible in Moonlight. That's
I
what
never
he won the award for.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what
watch
off
it.
is starting. He's in Green Book too with Viggo Mortensen. I haven't seen it yet though.
Right.
About the black piano player in the '60s during the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah, it looks great. I couldn't believe that was Hugo either. Until I saw his name, I did not recognize him at all.
Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah.
What's that?
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah.
I messed it up. He's Aragorn.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was also the Master Chief in G.I. Jane.
I don't care about that. I do care about Aragorn. That's Aragorn's a big deal to me. All right, Corey, what do you do?
Here we go. I caught up on The Walking Dead in both forms, basically. Read the comic book.
It's good, huh?
Me and Nate had. It's shit keeps changing. It's
People
wild.
talk shit about it. I've been reading reviews and stuff that don't like the past 5-6 issues, and I don't see any drop off at all. I love it.
No, yeah, I mean, I kind of questioned Rick's decision there. I almost want to point the gun to someone else, but yeah, continues to amaze, and then you compare it to the TV show now, which I'm on. I think it's on the 8th episode. I think the 9th episode might be tonight, but I watched up to the 7th episode, and way different. It's
yes, it is.
It's
very different.
It's wild, and I like the direction it's heading in. Me and Nate, we're gonna have to do spoilers on it sometime so we can actually talk about it. But I like what they're doing. It's cool. They're totally different.
That's funny. And me and you talked earlier. I'm sick of it. I think I might stop watching. I watched the one episode after Rick's last episode, and I think I'm out. There's too much better stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Possibly. This Is Us.
Really?
Number 4. Anyways, my other thing, Dead Cells. Switch. On the Switch. On the Switch, I gotta give it up to the Switch because Dead Cells is fucking awesome. I've played a few roguelites. I played Rogue Legacy, and I played Moonlighter, and I played Dead Cells, and Dead Cells destroys both of them.
I want it.
It's so fun, and it's super cool because I take Ubers to work. I can pretty much get off a whole life on my Uber to work, and even when we're slow and I'm like, I need a fucking break, I'll sit down 5 minutes, just play a quick life, and it's really fun. It's fun, the different play types. Like my buddy Thomas has it, and he plays it real slow. There's timed doors in it that give you extra cells if you make them in time. I play it fast as fuck, and he never gets the doors, but I always do. And I'm all melee. He's all life, but he's made it farther than me. But I have more upgrades than him. I don't know.
You're
it's really,
speaking Greek over there.
Yeah, you are.
You're going deep. You sound like Jeff talking about Eve right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking
I was about to call it.
Imagine a roguelike. And in Dead Cells, every time you die, well, there's multiple levels, and in each level you kill monsters and get chests and you get cells, and then you can turn those cells in for permanent upgrades at the end of the level, and then continue on.
Yep.
And then that's how it goes. But when you die, you restart way back to the beginning, but you still have the upgrades that you earned from your previous life.
Sure.
And
Roguelike.
it's just roguelike, and it's really fun. I'd recommend it to everyone. Dirt.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it in Game of the Year lists last year, for sure.
No, I want to get Dead Cells. I have it in my cart on PlayStation stores. Yeah.
And it's cool on Switch. That's what the other thing I was trying to say, because it's a easy in-betweener game to play. If you got 5 or 10 minutes to play a game, it's great for it, because you can make a couple levels in, and it's sweet. But anyways, Dirt, how was your week?
Oh, it was pretty cool. I'm a little deflated tonight, because of the egregious ref calls the Saints game. But otherwise, I don't want to talk more Red Dead, but I really made a push to close it out this weekend, and I'm still not that has to be longer than The Witcher.
What part are you on?
I'm in the epilogue.
What epilogue?
Epilogue 2.
Okay, you're close.
I thought I was close last time. It's so
Everybody says
long.
that. Yeah, everybody says that.
Some of it is does it really need to be this? Because some of the horse riding, I don't know. I was thinking when you're getting close to end game, that seems kind of pointless to be riding that much. I don't know.
It's kind of like the end game grind.
What are you gonna do? Drive a car? They
No,
don't exist.
I didn't start using stagecoaches until the very end, so I am proud of myself there. That was my time suck, and then Castle Ravenloft is my other time suck.
Right.
I can't talk details, but I've never DM'd something that complex in my life, and I sit there and read through. I read and reread pages because I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I found a third-party vendor that sells the entire castle split up by rooms, which I'm totally gonna buy. It's like $10, but
Nice.
I've got solid reviews. I have to, man, because the thing is, the book contains the entire adventure, right? It's not just the castle. The castle's one chapter, but in that chapter, it's so dense and compacted that it's like Greek. It's like, and I've looked this up online too. So many people get confused about different details in it. It's just not. I mean, I love that adventure to death. I think it's one of the best, and obviously Castle Ravenloft, but. Yeah, they should have had it in 2 books, I think.
One book, just the castle?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. There's a reason why. I mean, it was a standalone castle raid.
Sure.
Then I started reading Swamp Thing again, and I just, of note, I'm reading, I guess I'm in volume 2, I think, close to the end. And Alan Moore's writing in that series is some of the best comic book writing I've ever read. I mean, the language that he used in it. I mean, I think you read it, right, Nate?
No, just that first episode that we did. So far.
Really?
Yeah, the first issue is all I've read. I want to get into it. I'm behind.
It's up there with Watchmen in terms of language.
Nice.
It's so good, the writing. And I got Conan the Barbarian, the reboot, #1. Jason Aaron, which is awesome.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, Marvel just
I'm
got.
not into Conan.
Marvel just got it back. The DC had it before, so.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Oh, I got the Cinder 6, and I got the cleric spell cards.
Hmm.
There you go.
All right.
And that's it. That's my week.
The week. All right, this week, news of the week. We start off with something we just talked about in our weekly recap, and that is new DLC for Celeste,
Which I will not be getting.
which we'll not be getting, but it's free.
Even free.
It's free,
I
though.
mean,
Why won't you be getting it?
it's the stuff that I read about it. It's incredibly hard,
Well,
and
yeah.
that's
No
not something I
B-side.
played in the game.
Okay, so are the last levels in Celeste. It's just gonna be
Yes.
one step higher than the last level you played. It's not gonna be
Absolutely,
that hard.
but unlike that, I don't know if I can jump back into it the same way.
Well, then
I was in the
replay it.
thick of it.
Replay it.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
That's
personally,
what I'm thinking. I'm gonna replay it. If I can't handle it, I'm gonna replay it.
I don't have that kind of time on my hands.
Well, it's
dude.
crazy is because he was going to try and get it out for the anniversary of the 25th is the anniversary of Celeste, and he's not going to make it. But he said it's supposed to be just a one-shotter.
I'll
with no
try it.
B-side.
I mean, I'll try it, but
It's free.
Yeah,
I mean, why not?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
not?
The B-sides are so awesome, huh?
They are.
Every one of them is awesome.
Yeah.
Is that what do you have the record, Dirk? Are you
Yes.
saying that? Is the B-side of the record all the B-sides?
No,
I don't think so.
No?
it's,
No.
no.
They should
Yeah.
issue one though, as like
Yeah.
maybe a 45 or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, number 4. Warner Brothers is less focused on a shared DC universe now, thanks to Aquaman's unwittingly
Success.
What does that mean?
So none of you watched Aquaman yet, huh?
No.
Not yet.
So Aquaman is very strongly its own movie.
Yeah.
There's zero tie-in to any kind of Justice League or anything else. It's just its own thing, and then it was super successful. So they went and the article that I linked was, I think, from IGN,
Yeah, it was.
and just was it was linked to an interview with their head, who said, "Look, we're not Marvel. We're not trying to make a shared thing. We're giving individual directors individual freedom on each movie going forward." So
They're not
And-
going to even try to do like a shared universe or multiverse or anything.
which I still
They're not
think
gonna
is
be
stupid.
as good because of that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think though you might get like your Rogue One every now and then or something, right? Out of all the stuff that people are making. Like James Gunn is making Suicide Squad 2. Like I have high hopes for that. That could be really awesome. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's just an excuse. I think it's that they tried and just weren't good at it. And
Yeah.
this also movie like went a little bit away from what I always call the DC Hot Topic effect. Like it doesn't have that kind of dark, broody Zack Snyder feel to it at all.
Right.
And so I think they're just reading the tea leaves a little bit wrong. I think it was that stuff that was hurting them before more than whether it's a shared universe or not.
It's very wise of you.
Switching gears,
Thank
number
you.
3, Game of Thrones trailer.
Ooh.
April
Man, for
14th.
that little teaser,
that
shit was hot.
It wasn't it?
hot.
It's tinkle a little bit, doesn't it?
All the Starks.
Is it a dream, you think? Like, they would have seen those
Yeah.
statues
Yeah.
if they were down there as children running around all the time,
Well,
right?
especially
Third
because
with Brianna?
What's that?
Is the third statue Brianna?
No, it was Arya,
It's the
Sansa,
three of them.
and Jon Snow.
No, but I thought... No, the three that they walk up to are the mom, Brianna,
Before they come to their
and,
own, right.
and
Well,
and
they
And Ned.
passed
Yeah,
Brianna,
Nate.
Ned, and Caitlyn.
Ned.
They passed Brianna, Ned, and Caitlyn.
right, they
You hear
became
Caitlyn Stark's
yeah.
voice, and then you see their statues.
Brianna.
But
not
Jon Snow had a beard in the statue. He had a grizzled
Yeah.
beard.
Brianna. Right.
Which
I was just trying to figure out who the third one was. It's Liana.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
So it could have
Yes.
been a dream. It could also be like
It's an omen.
an omen saying this could possibly be your future, except winter is here. And or this could be your future, that you three survive, but you have to fight off the enveloping cold from winter and the White
All
Walker.
three of those people got murdered.
Right.
They're dead.
What? Oh, yeah.
All three of those people that the statues they showed all got murdered.
His mom, Ned, and Caitlin. Yep.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't bode well.
Well, the reason why they carve the statues is when they're dead.
Yes.
But it obviously showed Jon Snow and Sansa being older, and Arya.
I didn't think it did show him being older, to be honest. I just thought it was them then. Like they were walking up to their current selves, and that's what tripped them out, because those statues were down there of them. And then they turn around and the ice is coming, right? Yeah. So, like, I feel like part of that is, like you just said, they carve the statues when people die. Like, part of that was, like, them being like, boom, oh, we're dead. Here comes Ice King. Like, yeah. I'm still awesome. Going to hold strong on my prediction that Ice King wins, that White Walkers crush. No happy ending. Everybody's dead at the end.
I think it's not going to be a happy ending, but I think it's going to be a very mixed bag. I think it'll be a very mixed bag.
Well, Cersei will probably survive. Just to
Cersei you off. And the Ice King. She'll marry the Ice King.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's like, I'm done.
All right. John and Danny are riding away on a dragon together.
Wow.
Dead.
We don't know.
As White Walkers.
White Walker dragons. Yep.
You're wrong.
It's a thing.
Number two.
You better hold your pants. Number 2. EA has done it again and crushed our childhood dreams with the Star Wars franchise.
What did they do?
So you know how Amy Hennig moved over to do the Star Wars 1313? Wasn't that the one that she moved over from?
No, 1313 got canceled. She was making something else.
Yeah. It was that closed world kind of, I don't know. So you know how EA just fucks up a soup sandwich, basically? And they haven't got anything right in a long time, but basically, they bought Visceral, and then they closed Visceral, and then they had a new project, this open world Star Wars game they had taken from Visceral, and then they're like, no, we want to make it this, and then they're like, no, we suck because we think gamers want to go in a different direction, and they were wrong, and they just annexed the whole project. That's pretty much it.
So what I heard was, so in the past year, Dirk, they canceled the Amy Hennig game, and then she's the one who made The Last of Us and Uncharted, or Uncharted anyways, not The Last of Us, but Uncharted, and so we were all hoping for the Han Solo game out of her.
Yeah,
they canceled that. They had their other studio working on this big open world Star Wars game. And when they looked at their forecast, they said that they need a Star Wars game 2 years earlier. So they canceled that and said that the same team is going to work on a smaller scale game right now. But
oh my God!
Regardless of all that, like Jeff was saying, they've had the exclusive rights to make Star Wars games for 10 years, and they've made 2 subpar Battlefront games.
And why is it so hard to make
the last Star Wars game sucked.
It was EA.
It was a chore to play it. I played it because it was pretty and it was cool to play in it, but it was not a good game. I mean, I didn't enjoy Battlefront.
This is my thing. There's so much built-in lore to explore there. You don't have to write it. Right? There's enough to just pick from and make your game.
Well, and
why is this so hard?
They tried that. They tried that with Battlefront 2's story, and it ended up just being a copy-paste, insert rogue agent from the Empire here and battle against the Empire.
KOTOR is still
Even
the
that
best.
though was a super shallow, like 4-hour experience. Like that's all we've gotten in 6 years out of the 10-year deal that they have.
I mean, the last decent multiplayer Star Wars game that was somewhat not really open world, but sort of would be
The only decent
Old
Star Wars
Republic.
game is KOTOR.
The Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, was pretty decent.
So that game, I think, is one of the greatest games of all time. To be honest,
Old
What
Republic?
game?
KOTOR, yeah.
Oh, KOTOR
and then
it's decent.
and then like is that what you're talking about, or were you talking about the
No, I'm talking
online
about
one?
the online one. The
Oh.
Star Wars: The Old Republic, which takes place way before, and it was fun. I think the greatest Star Wars game was Star Wars Galaxies.
See, I think like back when they were doing like Dark Forces and X-Wing,
Those were good
And,
for a flight simulator, yeah.
and Dark Forces wasn't that was
Dark Force
first-person
was
shooter.
First-person shooter, yeah.
Yeah, like those years, those like that decade was awesome.
Well,
like they were
and
doing so
right
many
at the
different
end of that-
things.
Right at the end of that is when Galaxies came out, like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And Sony had that. Sony Online
Right.
Entertainment had that. And they did a really good job because they didn't allow anyone to become a Jedi. You had to unlock it, but you didn't know how to do it. And it was completely open world. You could do anything you wanted to, and they dropped the ball on it. They restructured the combat, and they restructured your skills and what classes you are, and it just destroyed the game. So, rest in
Gotcha.
peace, Star Wars.
Yeah, I've been listening to about a bunch of podcasts lately where people are like, "Oh, you don't really understand how difficult it is to make games and blah blah." And I'm just like, "No, fuck them to death." They have a decade to make Star Wars games, and they've made 2 that weren't that good. Like, I cannot wait until until their deal is done, and then Disney looks at what they're doing with Marvel games right now and give them to the good studios. Make a Telltale Star Wars game. Make the Spider-Man Star Wars game.
Telltale doesn't exist anymore.
But you know what I'm saying? They're making Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Switch, right? Like they're doing a bunch of different things. The Crystal Dynamics Avengers game, like they're trying all these different approaches at the same time, and that's what they need to do with Star Wars too. Like,
What do you feel about that Ultimate Alliance 3? You think it's going to be the same as
I
2?
think it's off topic.
I think it's gonna be better. I think it's gonna be better.
It's going to be because that game was a button smashing game
Bring it
where you're
back.
running around the map.
Yep.
Wow.
You think it's going to be more than that?
Who knows? We can save that for predictions talk, I think. That's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
It'd be great.
That's my 2019 prediction.
Because, well, you're a week too early.
I would like to see a studio like Naughty Dog get their hands on a Star Wars property. I'll end it at that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So, number 1, Spider-Man Far From Home trailer just popped out,
Oh, there we go.
and it was crazy.
AKA Jake Gyllenhaal wilding out.
Yeah, as Mysterio.
That's crazy.
And there's
Okay, so I'll
lot.
say what everybody's been saying.
What?
Mysterio created the monsters to make himself look like a good guy that defeats them, but he's ultimately the bad guy. That's what everybody's saying about it.
I've heard that all over.
Are the elementals in the comics? I don't remember them.
Yes.
Uh,
I put on our Facebook thing like tell me where these are from in our
Yeah.
Facebook group, and somebody posted a link up there that I went and followed for a while.
Ah.
They're all Sandman is one of them,
Oh, okay.
right?
It
And then
looks like Sandman and Hydro Man.
yes, it is. They're the water, and there's also an electricity one also that I don't know what it's called, but they are the elementals.
So, yeah, after watching that trailer again, I jumped the gun thinking it was Spider-Man Noir suit they had. That was a stealth spider suit they had,
Yeah.
where he's all in
But it's
black.
cool that he's in Europe. I do like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
far from home.
It's far
I just
Far from home.
I think like I don't know what to think. Like one side of me says that putting that trailer out now,
Yeah.
so he's not wearing the Iron Spider suit, right? So everybody's acting. The other thing you hear is that he's not doing that because Tony dies, and he's like can't wear that anymore because it makes him sad or whatever. So he goes back to his old suit and stuff. Like I just really, really hope that this isn't just the spoiler that Spider-Man comes back from Endgame. I really hope that Endgame is something crazy, and this is like a different universe or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, if they just if this just ends up being that the three core Avengers sacrifice themselves for the good of humanity, and then this is Spider-Man coming back to hang out in the real world, like that. I think they're blowing their chance. Yeah, right. They need to get as weird and wild as possible with Endgame, and I just feel like showing this of Spider-Man getting back to normal is I don't know, a concern to me.
The only thing I could think of was Endgame has already finished post-production. Well, it's in post-production. I mean, it was probably already shot and wrapping up when they probably started shooting Far From Home. So hopefully, if they do a continuation where it's the same universe, that they talk to the scriptwriters for Endgame and kept the chain of events going properly.
Oh, they definitely did that.
So it's not.
I mean, they do that, right? That's.
Well, I've heard suggestions. I've heard suggestions that it might jump around. Like there might be before and after within the film.
Right.
Which film? Far From Home?
Far From Home. Okay. Yeah. No, Far From Home. I think like there might be footage of what happens before.
Sweet.
And after. So I don't know.
Like you think like Nick Fury is pre-snap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing also. Like.
Like it includes sections in a movie that happened before the snap and then after the snap.
They could do if they do it the timeline. That could be doable.
But anyways, I feel like it looks like they're not doing anything crazy like that. It looks like this is like back to normal, and if that's what it is, I'll be disappointed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Excel at.
Agreed.
We'll find out. April.
D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe. Come check out D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe at 8228 Oak Street, 2 blocks off of Carrollton in Uptown New Orleans. D4 has everything from TTRPGs to CCGs, including board games that you can rent for in-store play or to take back home. D4 also serves sandwiches, po' boys, salads, and more. So if you're in the neighborhood, stop by Oak Street and check out D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe, the best critical hit in town.
Welcome to the hot topic of the week.
Really?
Hot topic.
Hot topic.
And this
Hot
week,
topic.
it's a little
Where the
precursor.
gods at?
It's a little precursor for me starting up my Underdark campaign, and we're going to talk about Underdark.
Bravo.
Which is an awesome D&D campaign setting. It's
Yes.
kind of scary.
I never
It's
thought
not for the
about.
faint of heart.
I never thought about sources of light and how the Underdark looks, and it's crazy when you think about all the plants that light up and stuff.
Blues. Purple and blues is what I imagine.
Yeah, lots of purple.
And what's funny is, I mean, there's no light in the Underdark, and all the residents of the Underdark have dark vision, but you do come across like this fungus that gives off a slight illumination, which I've seen it described
Certain mages,
as blues.
certain mages have like candles and shit too.
They do. Well, and then I mean, but the fungus gives off like blues and purples, maybe some reds. They do.
Greens.
I mean, they do create light sources. The Archmage of Menzoberranzan, what is it? Narabondal is the actual clock in Menzoberranzan, which he sets every day, and it gradiently creates light like it's.
Isn't that like
day.
a stalagmite?
Yeah, it's this giant stalagmite in the center of town.
That leads all down. Yeah.
Menzoberranzan is
It's the Drow Undercity.
Could you explain that a little bit for people who don't know anything?
It's a Drow Undercity, the capital, so to speak.
Capital, gotcha. Drow capital.
The Drow actually used to be surface dwellers and lived with the elves, and then there was a great rift and a battle because you had one god, Loth, that likes to
Loth.
She likes to
Loth.
torment her subjects, and so it's an interesting society of you never know if someone's. It's sort of like living with the Lannisters, in a way.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's out to get you, and then
Sounds like an MTV show.
Oh, no, the Drows.
they're always
they're
doing.
always to get advancement in the house.
Well, yeah,
Right.
they're always doing advancement. They're always trying to gain favor with Loth. I'll murder that name until the end of time.
Color Leah.
And so they never know, like, is this really a test or is it not? So they kill their siblings to think that by doing that they'll gain favor, and all the women. It's a matriarchal society, so the priestess hold the power. The males are pretty subservient, but they can be brought on as consorts until they do something to lose favor, and then they're shit upon.
Right.
It's awesome.
And one of the biggest fears, but it could be a great. It's a big fear is to fail and lose favor with Loth, and then be turned into a Drider, which is half drow, half spider. And
Whoa.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Driders.
yeah, and they use
I knew.
spiders.
I didn't know how Driders were created. I knew
Oh,
they
yeah.
were. That's crazy.
Well, then
Yes,
you also
sir.
have handmaidens.
Yeah.
And Loth likes to go and mess with her subjects.
Jeff, what other creatures are down there? What other races?
Dude, there's a ton of them. Don't ask me to say the names because I'm still
I'll
working on
tell you some of them.
Wergar?
There's Dwergar. There's giant mushroom people. There's gnomes.
Myconids.
There's big old worms that fucking eat everything.
that rock
There's goblins.
Yeah.
And
What's the gnome?
a lot of other.
Svirfnevlin.
What?
There's Smear.
Smearster.
That's right.
You
You're
have
right.
the Kuatoa.
Yeah, that's Josh.
Yeah. And not only do you have, then you have, the baddies and nasties, kobolds that go down there. You have what's called hook horrors.
Whoa.
Yes.
Hook
Those things are
horrors.
terrible.
Clacker.
Clackers.
No,
Clackers
Clacker.
was a hook horror.
Yes, he was. It's great.
What's the hook or?
Hook horrors. It's kind of like a, I don't know. It's hard to describe.
They got hooks.
They got
man.
hooks on their hands.
Hooks.
They're disfigured creatures that have hooks as hands, and they're like gross looking. They don't look like humans.
No,
They look
have
terrifying.
layers.
And they,
What is it? The
But-
cave fishers. You have the cave fishers are kind of like spiders that.
but Clacker, you'll get to know him, Nate.
But
Don't you worry.
The cave fishers like to dip lines down in a passageway, and then
Right.
they'll snatch it up.
There's snot. And
Oh, like Half-Life.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But
Gotcha.
you can, there's many entrances to the Underdark, and then it's a labyrinth. So even if you hook up with people, the residents of the Underdark, a lot of them only know their area.
Right.
Like, so there's no maps. You can get lost for days, months. You can run into rogue driders. It's
Very
it's just
big.
dark tunnels of rock.
craziness.
Yeah.
But it's super
Can't
awesome.
wait.
It's super awesome. And,
Can't wait.
You don't ever want to actually light in there because you'll ruin your dark vision. And then it just sets off a beacon.
And let's use it as blinding.
It's
for
good for blinding.
enemies.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm excited. I've never played a campaign in there.
It is crazy. And
Melby, where were you tonight?
I had a game to watch, dude. I had to fucking lose.
But if you want to learn
I
more
needed you
about the
there.
Underdark, I recommend there's an old 2E book that's called The Drow of the Underdark.
Yes.
It's a whole
It's
section
awesome.
that just talks about it and gets
I read a
way
few
in-depth.
chapters of it. Yeah.
And,
Agreed.
I mean, Menjabranzan is the main city, but there's other smaller outposts that the Drow, because they're the primary force down there.
Yeah.
They have all their weapons, their pet spiders. They patrol it. There are towns called Velkenvelv, and they like to take prisoners.
Jarlaxle runs the town.
And
Oh,
And
that
there's famous people. Jarl Axel.
Jarl Axel.
that cover for Draw with the Underdark is awesome.
It is.
That's Driz. That was an old.
I have a
representation.
PDF version of it, but yeah, that black cover, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's that 2E look.
I like it better than now. I don't like
I
the
know.
look now.
I
It's
agree.
tacky.
It's
It is.
crazy. I still got to read through it again.
I gotta say, in terms of, I know this is a little off subject, but in terms of art presentation, I think 2E just smokes. The way the books are binded and the look, the feel, I don't know. That's just personally what I like it a lot more.
I do too.
So it's
All right,
But
that's it.
Thanks,
Figure
Jeff.
out topic of the month.
yeah, and so
Hot
if you want to
topic.
learn more about the Underdark, stay tuned to Labyrinth Live Season 4 when we kick off our Underdark campaign and see how if the party can actually make it. If
Nice.
they can even make it out of the prison. All right. And once again, it's time to give love back to the YouTube community. And we love our subscribers so much. We love new subscribers, we love returning subscribers, love folks
Thank
that
you.
join our streams.
Thanks so much.
And this week is no different. This week, we'd like to give a shout out to Marianne Kurt Music.
Me and Kurt came into JD's. What's up? Thank you for supporting us. I supported you back.
Sweet.
You-
nice. What did
I
Mary
hope
and Kirk
that-
order? What'd they order?
She ordered a pizza,
Pizza?
of a certain type.
Amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Pizza, though.
thank
Sweet.
you.
Thanks,
Cool
Marianne.
pizza.
Next person.
Next is Jordan Halliday, Chris Bowman, Beyond the Game, Claude Man, and Mr. Appy 00.
Sea Loader, man.
Is it C-Loader Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
How do you know that?
I
I know that name's used a lot in like the hip hop community. I'm,
Okay.
I'm like 1,000% sure that's what it is.
well,
Cool.
all right. And we had some folks on the stream this week.
Yeah, Maverick, Julia, Captain Emo, and Nate.
And
What?
Who was the
it was
last one? Who was the
Old
other guy?
old school something.
I thought it was now Nate
Damn.
Outrage.
What?
Who was it? Nate Outrage or Old
No.
School Gamer?
No,
No.
old school something.
Old School Outrage. They're so
No.
horrible with those.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Old school savage.
Old School.
Yes.
Old school savage.
There we go.
Savage. Savage game coming at you.
Sweet.
Savage.
So, what are you thinking for name of the week?
Mary and Kurt music.
I think you need to discuss the amount of covetedness that the award, that name of the week.
The name of the week
Yes.
is very coveted. I mean,
Right.
every week people subscribe
We
to
can
us
do
just so they can have a chance to get this coveted award. They'll go
Indeed,
down
they
the
do.
annuals of YouTube.
the
My
anals.
vote.
Not the anals
Yes.
of Facebook. The annuals.
The anals of YouTube. You missed it. You've seen it.
Mary and Kurt music is my vote.
All right.
I got beyond the game. It's like Inception. I'm not in the game. I'm beyond it.
Unless Jeff picked the same thing.
I think
you
I'll go with
lost.
Marianne Kurt.
Boom.
All right. That's a goal.
Congratulations.
Graphic. Congratulations, Marianne Kurt.
Yeah.
You
Goal.
have the name of the
Kurt.
week.
Thank you.
And if you go back to JD's, Corey will hook you up with a free pizza for winning.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Free of
definitely.
charge.
Two topping.
On the
Good
house.
All right. I don't know what. It's time to wrap this puppy up.
Wrap
Before we
it
go,
up.
full spoilers on Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
Wanted to just let everybody know, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. We do the show free for everybody. It's not free for us, though. So if you could, please drop over by patreon.com/GCANDC. Support us for as little as $1 a month. That would really help us out, help us make the show better. We'd love you until the end of time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely. We really appreciate that. And my computer's broken, so I need a new one. Support us.
There you go.
Find us on Twitter at GCANDC. And join our Discord and Facebook groups. Just search for Games, Comics, and Culture. You'll find us. We'll be there. Thank you.
Also, you can grab a T-shirt or sticker at teespring.com. I did not get to work on socks this weekend because Red Dead pushed my...
Damn that game.
I know.
There could be worse things that could be buying your time.
But the socks are coming, I promise.
Socks are coming.
Yeah.
And we always want to thank Fred Thomas for opening music and C. Ryder for our stellar logo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you for the pho recipe.
The one other thing would just say really quick is, we begged for Patreon support. What I would say is that if it's not in your means to donate to us, what really can help us is tell your friends if you like what we do. Tell them, and also rate us if you're listening to this on any of those podcast sites or apps. Each one of those has rating things that it would help us if we get a bunch of high ratings.
But don't rate us if you think we're weak.
Just don't stay completely away from it if you don't.
Even
if you don't
4 to 5 stars, please.
5 stars only.
Yeah. As Scary Thought says, 5 stars or fuck off.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Thank y'all.
Bandersnatch. Welcome, everybody, for our full spoilers discussion on the Netflix series and show Bandersnatch.
It's the series is Black Mirror.
The series is Black Mirror. I was thinking that. I didn't say it because it's up here. We haven't perfected the mind reading yet. But yeah, Black Mirror, Bandersnatch.
Yeah, Nate calls the one name.
So I saw your note there, Nate, about keep going through it till you get the perfect. I'm sorry.
Perfect review.
I never got it.
Yeah.
No? I never got.
I couldn't. I don't even know how to get a perfect. I mean, I got the
It's
Netflix.
really hard.
So full spoilers.
Yeah, he said full swing.
Wait.
The perfect review is you have to go crazy and murder and then chop up bodies and
I did that.
get nuts. Then you get the perfect review. If you do that, if you do all that stuff, if you murder your dad, chop up his body.
The video game review.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I get
then
that.
the video game's perfect.
What you said was what Amy said was follow the author's moves. Do everything the author of the book did.
Oh, I didn't figure in it. See, I'm sorry. I was a little checked out when I watched it, I guess, because otherwise, I think I might have enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I just didn't it. It was too heavy for me at the time. I couldn't, dude. I tried. I was like, I don't fucking care. Shoot this person. Throw him off a cliff.
I was kind of depressed at the time. It's like a creme de la creme when you're fucking depressed.
Yeah, it's heavy.
And
It's a heavy movie.
It's like fight with your mom. And that was my choice, and I felt really content with that. That was great. That was my ending.
Yeah.
And Nate, I called Nate, and I was like, no, I died with my mom. He's like, no, that's not the ending. And I was like, nah, that was my ending. There were no choices
I guess
left.
I went through it a couple of times because it does reset. Because I got the perfect review for the game, and it took me a while to go back through it, and I liked the idea of an interactive movie. It was interesting that you sort of choose your own adventure. And so I went
You guys
there,
like
and I
Frosted
went
Flakes or
full
Sugar
crazy.
Puffs?
Huh?
Frosted Flakes or Sugar Puffs?
I went Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes.
Okay, obviously.
Hey, is the Netflix thing always at the end?
No,
No, it
No.
changed.
it changes
Right.
because
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm just saying.
Go ahead,
because
Jeff.
you can. I mean, there's that one. It's like when he asks, who's doing this, and it comes up, and one says, one's the decision tree,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then the other one, the first time I can't remember what it was, but it was
It's
it was
packed.
Pack.
It was Pack.
Yeah.
And then the
Right.
second time I watched it, it went decision tree and Netflix,
Yeah.
and I was like, cool. What's the Netflix one does? That was.
Yeah, and it
And
gets
then
wild.
when he's talking to his psychiatrist, and she's like, well, this is normal, you don't. What you want exciting? And all of a sudden, it was like do you
The
want
ninja fight.
Do you want it to get
Yeah.
action packed?
The swords,
yes, or fuck yeah. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yep.
Did
What'd you
try
think,
to
Nate?
jump out the window? Did you try to jump out the window during one of the fights?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Netflix tells you not to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
Nate,
What?
What?
the way we ended it, when I killed myself with my mother and died in my spot was my comfortable ending. That was cool. But then you made me get the 5-star review, and
Just wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
yeah, but why?
Because
I think
I think what's really
you
impressive
call that
about
the
it.
real ending.
I think what's really impressive about it is that there's so many different endings. When I did it the first time, I didn't even see. I told the doctor I didn't want to talk about my mom.
Yeah.
And then we didn't even go down that storyline at all, right?
Really?
And then like the third time that we did it, we went into the drawers, the dad's drawers, and started watching all the weird like surveillance stuff that is like his dad was in it with the government and us who are controlling him and stuff.
I got to that.
That was this whole like third storyline. Like it was so cool that there were those 3 different storylines.
Yep.
That if you just wanted to watch it one time, I get what you're saying. Like that's your ending because that was your first choices as you went through it. But it's cool to see them all. I think
Did you?
All right, but I retried it a few times.
Did you get the ending?
And that was my final ending.
Did you get the ending where the one game developer Colin, after he jumps off the balcony, at one of the endings, it turns out that after the guy goes crazy and chops up and gets the program review, the daughter of that programmer wants to redo Bandersnatch itself.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I actually got end credits. Then I actually got end credits. It was cool.
So you did see it.
I think I got them all. I don't know. It was interesting.
I was lost at some point. I was like, did I pick that? I was like,
Well,
I couldn't remember what my choices
That's
were.
intense. It's intense watching them splatter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was intense, definitely.
God, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but all I could see from that kid was he was the kid in We Are the Millers. So like half the movie, that's all I could see was the kid from We Are the Millers.
I never saw that.
The programmer kid.
Yeah.
But I liked it when he went crazy and just killed his dad a couple times and chopped him up. And he's like, it's fine.
So, did they get sued by Choose Your Own Adventure?
That Choose Your Own Adventure sued them. I don't know if it.
If it went
I
through?
never heard anything else. Yeah, other than that they.
Yeah, because they directly referenced it. It wasn't that they just kind of modeled the movie. They say those words.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know. It's an interesting movie. I like not knowing anything about it before watching it. So I was completely just go for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool format to use, for future films. I don't know if I would want to watch that all the time. Like, I wouldn't want that level of interactivity every time I watch a movie.
No, not for every movie, but 1 out of 4.
But I like
1
the
out of
dark
5.
versions. Right. Yeah.
I don't even think that many, but I think it's like, to me, like this is like the Telltale games of movies.
Yes.
Right. Like it's not, that's not the experience I want all the time, but every now and then it's cool. And I thought this one in particular, like people were, I read some bad reviews around it that said it was kind of mediocre and gimmicky, and I just thought it was cute. Like it wasn't like the most groundbreaking like piece of art that I've ever seen. Right.
No.
But it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't
and being
cinematic, that's for sure.
Yeah, and being a nerd for video games and like growing up with that aesthetic and stuff.
I like that a lot.
They nailed the '80s aesthetic. Only it had like that European twist on it and stuff. Like, I was a fan. Yeah, I thought it was good.
I thought, like you said, the reviews that they called it very mediocre and gimmicky. I expected that I wouldn't like it when I saw it. Right. And stylistically, I loved it. The music was incredible.
It was, yeah.
Tangerine Dream and Kajagoogoo and freaking XTC. Those are all, like, I was like, wow, whoever picked these songs, it's great.
Well, it was cool just to, like, pick music. Like, you could start out with Aha, and then you could get rid of Aha and go completely different. And
Tangerine Dream, buddy.
Tangerine Dream. I think that's
there
what
you
I
go.
went for.
Yeah, Thompson Twins right away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was the easy one.
Yeah.
So I tried watching the next Black Mirror that binged after it,
Yeah.
and it lost me. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I turned
Yeah,
it off.
they're hit or miss.
I was like, no.
Yeah, they are hit or miss, and
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it as much as some people do, but there's definitely a few of those that are worth watching.
Yeah.
There's some cool ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, if you get a chance, hopefully you watch Bandersnatch before you watch this segment, because if not, you're fucked. So we finished our spoiler topic, and stay tuned for our next spoiler topic. It's going to be
2 weeks from
Descender number 1, which will be about 2 weeks. So right after the Super Bowl, look it up.
Word.
So Descender number 1 is going to be our next one.
Jeff
Thanks
Lemire.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Peace.